DMVPN phase 1. In this video, I'm going to talk about again DMVPN and also the detail of DMVPN, or for example about some new commands and also how we can configure IGPs, means interior gateway protocols in the DMVPN phase 1. It is informative video and also we will learn about the IGPs and some of the detail related to each IGP in this video. As you can see here, we have three routers, R1, R2, R3 in the overlay, okay, but the router 4 is residing on the for example underlay. Because of that, we will have one DMVPN tunnel, okay, and in this DMVPN tunnel the hub router is the R1 and the spoke routers is the router 2 or the router 2 and also router 3. Let me to emphasize that DMVPN hub, okay, is NHRP NHS, means next hop resolution protocol, next hop server. And in the router 2, as you can see, we have DMVPN spoke or NHRP NHC or next hop resolution protocol, next hop clients, okay. And after that, again, router 3 is the next NHC. We will learn about the IGPs in this video, but let me to review the configuration of the previous video here about the hub configuration, means NHRP NHS configuration and also NHRP NHC configuration. You know that we have learned about the for example DMVPN phase 1, and in DMVPN phase 1 on the router 1 we have MGRE tunnel, but on the router 2 and router 3, means on the clients, we are configuring point-to-point GRE tunnels, okay. Because of that, you know that we are talking about the DMVPN phase 1 because we have some differences between the DMVPN phase 1 and also phase 2 and also phase 3. All right, this is the configuration of the R1 or DMVPN hub or NHRP NHS. Okay, look at here. Here we should configure one MGRE tunnel, interface tunnel 0. Okay, for MGRE tunnel, you know that we are configuring only the tunnel source, not tunnel destination. Because of that, interface tunnel 0, tunnel source is fast Ethernet 00. This interface is the fast Ethernet 00. Actually, we are configuring 10141 for the source IP of the tunnel. You know that each tunnel, okay, in each tunnel we need to configure tunnel source in multipoint GRE tunnel or for example in GRE tunnel, but destination, this tunnel destination is configuring only in the from GRE point-to-point tunnel. All right, because of that, here we don't configure tunnel destination, but we have tunnel mode command GRE multipoint. After that, I have assigned IP address to this interface, IP address 192.168.123.1 and you know that we should configure IP NHRP network ID 1. Actually, this ID, okay, the 1, okay, is locally significant and it is not important to enabling the same network ID in all for example routers in this DMVPN, but it is recommended. About the best practice, we can say that it is better to configuring the same network ID. After that, as you can see here, we have two static route, IP route quad 2, quad 255. The next up is 192.168.102, and then IP route quad 3, quad 255. 192.168.123.3. I have explained this for example commands and also how the traffic is forwarding from router 1 because I don't want to repeat them. After that, in the router 2 and also in the router 3, we should configure similar configuration. Interface tunnel 0 in both tunnel, then tunnel source is fast Ethernet 00, it is okay. Tunnel destination is 10141. As you know, here we are configuring point-to-point GRE tunnel. Because of that, in point-to-point GRE tunnel, we have the tunnel destination. Because of that, I have configured the tunnel destination. This is for R2, okay, and also this is for the router 3. That's it. Then we should configure IP address to each of these two tunnel. Here in the router 2, we have configured 192.168.123.255.255.255.0. But about the router 3's tunnel interface, we have configured at the 192.168.123.3.255.255.255.0 as the IP address. After that, IP NHRP network ID 1, again IP NHRP network ID 1, and you know that In each of these two router 2 and router 3, we should configure the IP address of the NHS, because they should register themselves, okay, to the router, to the NHS or the server. Because of that, they should know about the IP address of the NHS. Here, you know that the IP address of the NHS is 192.168.123.1. Okay, don't forget, you need to think only to the overlay, not underlay. Okay, actually your network is this pink network, as you can see. Okay, because of that, the address of this interface, the tunnel interface, okay, is the 192.168.123.1. okay, look at here, we have in the router 1 now one tunnel 0 interface. That's it. Here we don't have fast Ethernet 0 for example. Also here we have in the router 2 one tunnel 0. Okay, you should know about, you should think about the overlay, okay, when you are configuring one feature related to the for example the DMVPN. For example, we want to identify the NHS is a feature in the DMVPN, not means in the overlay, not in the underlay. Because of that, we should configure the IP address of the NHS with the for example overlay addressing, means the tunnel addressing 192.168.123.1. Then in the router 2 and router 3, we should configure static routes, IP route quad 1, quad 255, 192.168.123.1. Okay, means if you want to send traffic to the quad 1, you should give it to the 192.168.123.1. You know that here we are working with this pink, for example, link, not with the underlay. Actually, you are working on the overlay. Okay, it is so important to understand the difference between the underlay and also overlay. Now, IP route quad 3, quad 255, again, look at here, you can configure 192.168.123, but if you configure this static route in the router 2, okay, because here we don't have direct connectivity to the router 3, we should do the recursive lookup. Because of that, in the DMVPN phase 1, in most cases we are using the for example a static route to the hub router, okay, or to the NHS. IP route quad 3, quad 255, 192.168.123.1. again, IP route quad 1, quad 255, the next stop in the router 2, 192.168.123.1, and also IP route quad 2, quad 255, next stop is 192.168.123.1. What does it mean? I showed you the traffic between the spoke routers in the DMVPN phase 1 should go to the hub router, okay, and after that from the hub router it can forward to the for example other spoke router. This is the path. Look at here, from the router 2 we are sending traffic to the router 1, and after that we are sending traffic to the router 3. You know that about the optimal routing, this is not a good behavior. Why? Because now we have direct connectivity, we can establish direct connectivity between the router 2 and router 3, but because here we are talking about the phase 1, and in phase 1 in the spoke routers we are configuring only the point-to-point GRE tunnel to the hub router, okay, it is obvious that the traffic should send only to the R1, okay, means the hub router. After that, from the R1 it can send to other routers. Actually, DMVPN phase 1 is a good solution for security features when we want to receive to for example gather all of the traffic in the router 1. After applying the security feature, we can forward the traffic to the other routers. All right, this is the DMVPN phase 1. Now let me to review some of the topics that we have learned before, but now I'm going to talk about a little with more detail about them. Let me first review NHRP. NHRP is the abbreviation of the Next Hop Resolution Protocol, and NHRP was released in the RFC 2332. Okay, NHRP is a client-server protocol. You know that, for example, R2 and R3 are clients, and the R1 is the server. Okay, and also in NHRP we have two important functions, two important roles, NHRP Next Hop Server or NHS. In this scenario we have only one NHS, but it is possible to have more than one NHS, but at least we should have one NHS, and also we have NHRP Next Top Client or NHCs. And you know that Cisco, okay, let me to say that Cisco has added additional NHRP message type. In NHRP, we have some message type, okay, and like the registration, resolution, redirect, purge, and error. But